injury update, Greg.
Yep.
I spoke briefly to Mark, and he seemed to indicate that he's not going to be able to play on Sunday.
He won't be available Sunday, and Stevie won't be available Sunday.
Okay.
Aside from that, I think we're in good shape.
Is there a prognosis on a return date for either one? I mean, for Stevie, it's been over a month now, so is there concern about how much longer this is going to go on?
No, not really. I mean, it's prognosis is we're optimistic for next week. Those should start integrating back into training, and we look at next week. It's just as they start getting back into progressing into playing, it's how the tissue is responding for both of them. So Stevie's running, he's back on the field, and now it's just a response thing in terms of getting back. But he based on having the slight tears in the calf that he had, we're right around the 4 weeks, and we should be at that point where he's now integrating back into training, and it's just going to be how things respond. So, but he's doing better.
And Mark, what's his?
Very similar. Yeah, very similar. I mean, he had a grade 2, which is right around that 6 weeks-ish, and he's reaching that mark. We tried to integrate him back in a little bit at the front end of the injury timeline, and he wasn't quite ready. He obviously had a response, and we pulled him out quickly. So he's more on a normal timeline now, which we're hoping next week he should be progressing back into training.
Gotcha.
What would a win do for the team's psyche this weekend?
Yeah, I think it would be great. It's we've had moments in all the games where we've been excellent, and then a handful of moments where we've exposed ourselves and taken goals. But I think it would be great for just the team morale, and just going on the road in these stretches is never easy, but we're also getting closer and closer to that home opening match, and it's just about building some momentum and get moving forward. Everybody knows what we're capable of in that room, and everybody knows that we just have to get through this period where we're giving up some tough goals, and especially some early goals. But obviously all wins are good for team morale, and no matter whether it's a streak or breaking a losing streak. But we're all looking for that opportunity this weekend again to go out and get a result.
In Dallas this past weekend in the second half, there was 2 shots on goal. Those 2 shots resulted in 2 goals. So would you like to see this team shoot more?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. We were in a lot of dangerous areas in the second half, getting into good areas in the box, and Seba getting on the ball in good spots. And for us, that's always been one of the emphasis, is turning our possession and our attacks into real goal-scoring chances. We are in good areas, but not always then making the goalkeeper come up with a save. But so yeah, but it's part of it as well, as us being more aggressive on the attacking side. But scoring goals isn't our issue. We're converting at a reasonable level. Our issue is obviously not giving away chances, protecting ourselves in the space behind us, and being better in terms of our decision-making and defensive side.
I think you'd agree that it's still early days. You've said that multiple times. At what point is it not early anymore, you think?
I don't know. I think when we get back home and we start to balance our home games out a little bit, and we really see where we're at, that's where we know. I mean, a lot of things happen in terms of early stretches for teams. Usually when you play, for example, 10 games, you usually have approximately half of those home and half of those away, and you can really gauge what kind of home team you're going to be and what kind of road team when you get. And usually you can break a streak by getting one of those home games, and so on and so forth. For us, it's 7 on the road. We're trying to sort of learn about ourselves on the road, which I think we're getting a lot of good messages that we are taking, and we're adapting some things for ourselves so that we can be a better team. And for us, I think I don't have a magic number, but I think we are progressing as a group, and we'll be fine. I think when summer comes, you have a good idea where you're at.
There's kind of always been a formula in this league about making the playoffs, win at home, pick up a point on the road, average that. If you guys get a win and a draw in the last 2 games, you're 7 points, averaging a point on the road. Would you still find that as a success?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think if we come in, we were optimistic that we could have taken more points out of the first games, and I think at times we've positioned ourselves and shown that we could. But in the end, we let some things slip away. But now it's just about picking up as many points as we can in these last couple of games, and again, continuing to learn about ourselves and find these final couple games of this real tough stretch, is pick up as many points as we can and solidify ourselves on the defensive side. We know the attacking side we can do damage, so and then build ourselves into some momentum coming forward, coming home. So yeah, I would agree with you. 7 points would not be the worst thing at all. 4 points would not be the worst in the next 2 games, but 6 would be better. but that doesn't it doesn't always work the way you want it. So 4 would be a nice number.
How did you think Morrow did when you shifted him over to right back, and might we see him back at right back again in the lineup?
Yeah, I thought he did very well. I thought he, what was obviously a challenge for us early in the game, he really solidified that side. Castillo, who is a very dynamic player, Justin matched him in terms of his athleticism. Justin made good decisions on when to drop off and just bring him to him, and good decisions when to get tight to him. I thought he did a very good job. Obviously, it's not his natural left side in terms of attacking, but he did a fantastic job defensively, and I thought he really competed well. And I think he's shown a lot of confidence, especially over the last couple of weeks, and during this week in training, he shows that he's in a really good place. He's communicating with everybody on the line, and he understands the outside back position and the decisions that have to be made. And I thought he very much showed that in the second half, or really since when we switched him over in the first half.
You've talked a lot about this season about wanting to be aggressive, and sort of pushing the ball forward and really kind of pressing your opponent. In light of the defensive woes, any thought about sort of tailoring that off a bit and focusing more on defensive stability?
Yeah, I think it's, in terms of being aggressive, there are moments in the game where you want to be aggressive, and there are moments in the game where you have to realize this isn't the moment to be aggressive, and we need to recover, and we need to keep things in front of us and reorganize. And for us, it's finding the right balance, because still when you possess and you have a lot of numbers in the attacking half of the field and the ball transition, you shouldn't just turn around and sprint back to the top of your box and defend, right? You still should be able to get them under pressure and force them to turn over the ball. But at the same time, you can expose the space behind you. So it's just finding a balance and making good decisions. And collectively, it's us as a back group making sure that things don't get behind us. If they don't, teams are having a harder time breaking us down. I think we're number 1 in the league in terms of difficulty, in terms of teams having difficulty putting passes together against us, right? A lot of teams are under their percentage when they play us in terms of actually having to connect passes. So we defend well when we get into our organized positions, and we defend well in transition as long as we keep the play not behind our back line.
How are you trying to keep the guys, the morale up, because you have such a huge away schedule? It's kind of strange for an MLS club, although it's not unprecedented. How are you guys trying to keep the guys' spirits up?
Again, it's focusing a lot on the process. The team knows how good we're capable of being. We've seen it in stretches of each of the games that we've played in. So you live a little bit on those moments, and you learn from the mistakes that you make. And for us, again, it's moments in games where we've made a few mistakes on the defensive side. They could be better. So we just look at those as a group and understand as soon as we tighten that up, then more games, I think, will look a lot more like the second half of the Vancouver game, where we didn't let them in behind us at all. We took real control of the game. We were able to move the ball around. We created enough problems and goals. But the key for me in that second half was we stopped allowing the ball to get in behind us. We didn't sit back on our box. We didn't defend really deep. We just didn't let the ball get in and give away things in behind us. And once that happened, I gave our time to our midfield to really help us, because we have a hard-working group of players. But if you don't have time to put in the hard work, then you don't really affect the game. So that for me is just a simple us growing as a group and recognizing that's all we need to do is give ourselves a chance and keep things in front of us. And they recognize that. Everybody knows, because we train every day, what the caliber of the group is. It's just about making good decisions when the lights come on Saturday night and the game kicks off.
Did you talk to any other managers that you might know around the league that have gone through this kind of road stretch? A guy like Peter Vermees, I don't know how long how close you are to him, but did you talk to them about extended road trips before going on this?
No, not specifically. I mean, one of our coaches on the staff was a part of the Galaxy staff that went through their early stretches in terms of their approach to things, and so he had some insight. Obviously, that was in the days that Ziggy was there, but I haven't specifically picked up the phone and called anyone per se. I'm not sure how many teams want to really help us through this stretch, because we are a dangerous team. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we're a dangerous team, and it's about us just getting things sorted out a little bit. But I'm sure there's a fair amount of insight out there, I'm sure.
Kind of a far away, but are you worried about the pressure that will be on the team for the homestead if things don't go well on the road? I know that that's probably not the first thing on your mind, but you could come home to a fan base that's expecting a lot, having the home advantage come May.
No, I mean, I'm confident in our group going into these next two games that we will build some momentum coming home. In the end, everybody to a man is excited to come home. What we don't want to do is just leave it till when we come home to start picking up points. We want to try to pick up points while we're on the road. But at the same time, we're very excited to get home back in front of our fans. It's been unfortunate that we haven't had the opportunity to play in front of them yet. That would be great energy for us as a group, and we could use that during the course of these matches. But we look forward to getting home regardless of the situation. However, we're not going to overlook these two games to just get home and start dealing with acquiring points. We want to do so immediately starting this weekend.
Take one more for Greg, guys.
Have you been following Montreal's progress through the Champions League? And just wondering, as a longtime MLSer, what?
Yeah, I watched the last match. And I thought they played quite well. I thought they did a very good job of playing on the road in a really tough stadium to play in and against a good team. And I think they've looked solid in terms of just protecting themselves defensively over the course of that match. I thought they looked organized. They took the chance that they took, and I wish them all the best in this next match. And I think they have everything to play for. They're home with a 1-1 result going into it. So. I wish them the best. I think they've done a great job. They've gotten solid and managed to do what you need to do in this event to keep yourself there.